Welcome to Section 420, Talkin Yankees, the podcast. Well, sold. I'll take it. Yankees win 2 out of 3 in Baltimore. Take the series win and reduce their deficit in the ALEs from 3 games to 1 there. And before the series started, I would have been grateful to just get one win out of there and kind of get out of Dodge. But nevertheless, Yankees take 2 out of 3. And in the final game there, get a big dramatic home run in the 9th inning and are in position to steal a series sweep, which would have been, at least up to this point, probably maybe the best win of the season. Would have been a great way to cap off the first half of the season for the Yankees, as now all teams go into the All-Star break there. But nevertheless, I'll settle for 2 out of 3. So good, solid series win for the Yankees. They stopped the bleeding. They were up to like 8 series in a row without a win, or at least only getting a tie there. So the Yankees kind of finally get back on the series winning side there. And good to see some good starting pitching from not only of course Garrett Cole, but of course Luis Heel, where we're starting to maybe lose faith in a little bit there, but he comes back, finally gives us one of the type of performances that he was giving us early in the season. So a lot of good stuff there, a lot of good stuff from the Yankee offense. So we'll get into the whole thing, but before we get started, make sure you subscribe to this podcast, Section 420 Talkin Yankees, the podcast, and there is a YouTube version of the show. So we are afterwards, you want to go into YouTube, search Section 420 Talkin Yankees, subscribe there as well. Now, it's not updated as frequently as this, but equally as entertaining. So the Yankees, of course, we know they've been stuck in the mud for, maybe since mid-June. Again, failing to win a series at all there, and just getting that tie, the 4-game series in Toronto there. The Yankees really desperate for winning, and then can go into this one. The Yankees dropped 2 out of 3 in Tampa, and as I mentioned before at the top, that I'd have been just grateful just to get one win out of this, and you just hope to not get swept at just the way the Yankees have been playing lately. Again, not getting great starting pitching. The offense, kind of anemic right now. Even the good players like Judge and Soto slowing down for this different reasons, and a slump. And Soto, of course, we know battling both not only a forearm but a hand issue as well, which part of the reason why you've seen his average dip under 300 there. So Yankees dealing with a lot of problem there. And last time these two teams locked up, Baltimore took to the Yankees in the Bronx. I know they dropped the first game, but after that, win the next 2. And of course, he kicked the Yankees' butts big time in that last game, that afternoon hot game in the Bronx. Scored 17 runs. Gleyber Torres, tweaks his groin there, which is something that's been lingering ever since there. Tim Hill, you got to bring in a new pitcher, and he gives up a home run right away. And of course, afterwards, they have to designate Victor Gonzalez, that just because he also gave up a home run a game. And this overall has been terrible. So Yankees had a bad point from there, and really almost up to this point in this series as well. The slide never stopped for the Yankees there. Now, going into this, the only thing that's benefited the Yankees from completely getting dropped in the American League East standings, that Baltimore also has been scuffling a little bit. Now, before this series, the Cubs were in Camden Yards as well and ended up sweeping the Orioles, winning by a collective score of 21-2. So they won. Not only they win all 3 games, but again, their offense only scored 2 runs in the 3-game set. So if you imagine if what would happen with Yankee fans if the Yankee fans would have had a 3-game series and the Yankees only scored 2 runs. I mean, they would say, "Oh, you got to fire Boone, get rid of Cashman, get rid of the hitting coach. What do you got to do? Get rid of everybody." So sometimes you got to kind of take a breath, take a step out of your team. Look at like other teams struggle as well, and it's all about ebbs and flow of when you catch a team. So last time they faced each other in the Bronx, the Yankees were probably catching the Orioles when they were kind of on the upswing and doing kind of hot. Well, now at this point, the Yankees catch Baltimore when they're in a little bit of low position, and you kind of see why maybe that's how the Yankees were able to take the first 2 games of this series there. So it all depends, the ebb and flow with where the team's at, when they catch them. Are you hot? Are you not hot? So sometimes you got to factor that all as well before you just want to fire the manager every 2 minutes. But nevertheless, the first game, Yankees get on the board early, 2-0 there. But the only problem is that Trevino sliding into home ended up tweaking his hamstring, so he needed to be put on the 10-day IL. But good to see the Yankee offense hold up behind Garrett Cole. Gives the Yankees 6 strong innings after being a little bit shaky in that Boston game. Again, what really kind of drowned that out was the 3-homer performance from Ben Rice there. But Cole not exactly sharp in that game, but comes back strong in this game. Only gives up 1 run, 7 strikeouts. Kind of a Cole-like performance, similar to what we saw that performance they had in Toronto. Not fully stretching him out yet. Only won 6 innings, but good enough. And of course, good to see Aaron Judge get a home run. He's been scuffling a little bit now. Again, he's just been tremendous overall. So and still hitting home runs left and right. So you kind of really didn't see it. But again, he's kind of been scuffling himself a little bit, but gets a home run in this game. Now, the only interesting part of this one was in the 9th inning. Now, there was rain pretty much all across the East Coast late Friday, and then it looks like the conditions in Camden Yards were a little wet as well. Now, with Clay Holmes on in the 9th to try to get the save, he had a ball that came out. It hit Kjerstad in the head there. Kind of a scary moment. Now, he was able to get up, but then Baltimore manager Brandon Hyde kind of came out a little bit, and he started joining with the Yankee bench, and he even needed to be held back by catcher Austin Wells there. which was kind of ridiculous. Boone had to come out, and they were sort of joining back at each other, and the whole thing didn't make sense. Now, Baltimore thought basically that Clay Holmes was trying to hit Kersad in the head there. Now, look, the Yankees are on a losing streak. They're winning by a score of 4-1 in the bottom of the ninth. The closer just wants to get out. That is not the time for retaliation. Now, supposedly there's been some stuff back and forth with, and we saw, remember Aaron Judge got hit in the hand. That was the first game in the Bronx the last time they locked up, so they figured, and there's been maybe some instances lately they've been throwing inside on Aaron Judge, so they thought maybe this is retaliation to that. You're not going to retaliate in that spot. The closer is there to get outs and win the game, especially when you're bleeding. The way the Yankees have been bleeding lately. You're trailing Baltimore by 3 games in the standings. You want to get that win. That is not the time to fool around, to hit someone in the head, put runners on in the 9th inning. Baltimore, the bandbox in Camden Yards, so you get 2 guys on, you get a 3-run home run like nothing. A closer is not going to fool around in that situation. And Holmes, look, his stuff is nasty. When he controls it, he's great, but there's times he can't control it. And in no way I would think that would be, Holmes throwing at a player intentionally, So for Hyde to get all upset about that was just absolutely stupid. Again, he gets the Bird Brain Award for that Friday game there. Again, makes no sense. Now, he was saying that, the reason that he got pissed off, he looked at some Yankees on the bench that were kind of pointing at him after the hit to sort of say, well, that's for you guys for hitting Judge and stuff like that. I don't know. I mean, maybe he's misinterpreting that. But again, a closer in a 4-1 game there in the 9th inning, not looking to put runners on there. I don't care if it's Mariano or Rivera. There's no guarantees that a closer is going to close out the game cleanly. They're not looking to fool around in that spot there. If it was the 7th inning, maybe, all right. But a closer in the 9th is not going to fool around there. So there was no reason for him to get all hyped up for nothing. Now, I'm not going to say he's worried about his play. Sure, he got drilled in the head by a 97-mile-per-hour sinker. I'd be upset too a little bit, but the idea that they were throwing at him in that spot, not there, and for him to interpret that way, completely out of whack there, so wrong on his part, but nevertheless, the good news, the Yankees take the first game there, 4-1, and in the second game, this is what you'd like to see most of all, because Luis Gil, now supposedly he said lately he might have been tipping his pitches, that's why you see him he was getting rocked lately. He had 3 kind of mediocre performances, did bounce back, pitch good against that Sunday night game in Boston, but of course got no run support. Now back that up with another strong performance here, so maybe now Luis Gil finally starting to get on the right track after again stumbling for about 3 or 4 games in a row now. Gives the Yankees 6 strong innings, 7 strikeouts, but it was the offense that got him on the board early with a 4 spot. Again, it's not just Aaron Judge and Soto who would hit home runs later in this game, but it was some other guys contributing, mainly with Austin Wells also going deep. Again, you need the other guys to do a little bit something. They don't have to be Judge or Soto, but they also got to contribute a little bit. And again, we saw that a little bit in the first game, with Volpe and Trevino getting some big hits there to get the Yankees on the board. And then, of course, this game, Wells getting involved there. So, again, it's just more than just the Judge and Soto show, but giving Luis Gil a 4-run cushion there where he was able to deal. Again, got 7 strikeouts. And, of course, I mentioned before, later in the game, Judge and Soto would go deep. And, again, Judge at that point, back-to-back games going deep there. And at that point, giving the Yankees the series win, where at that point you just think it's gravy. Because, again, I was shocked. I even thought it was possibly just the way the Yankees have been playing lately, they might even get swept in Baltimore. Even though Baltimore has been scuffling themselves a little bit, just at that point, you just have really almost no faith in the team. It's the way they've been since mid-June. But again, at that point now you're playing with house money, which then brings us to the final game there. Now it's like a weird 11:30 start because it's one of the Roku games. I'm not saying that had anything to do with it, but nevertheless, the Yankees now, in this one, Rondon started, he only went 4 innings, wasn't total garbage, so I can't really kill him on this one. But again, can you give us a little bit of a length in that? I mean, you're a starting pitcher, and lately you've been getting knocked out early, so it's not like you have major innings on your arm there. So this was sort of pieces together by the bullpen. You got a little Luke Weaver in there, you got a little Tommy Kahnle. But the really turning moment, though, in this game, 2 of them, was in the 9th inning. Craig Kimbrell, he's an elite closer. I know he's a little bit older in age this year, but you still look at him as one of a top closer there. The Yankees get the first 2 runners on, and then Ben Rice hits a 3-run home run, huge spot there. That turned a 3-2 deficit into a 5-3 lead there, and if it just stayed that way, probably you're talking about maybe with the first or second best win of the season for the New York Yankees there. But again, it would have been just to end it all against the Baltimore Orioles, the team you're chasing there, and if you could just end the first half of the season that way, it would have been great. But nevertheless, the Yankees find a way to blow this. And they've done this a few times this season where they've had a great top of the 9th inning, and then Clay Holmes or something goes wrong, they've blown it. So and this was the same now. not all Holmes' fault a little bit, but he did work himself into such a bases-loaded situation with one out. But as we all know, he's probably one of the best in baseball doing. Induces a ground ball, an easy hopper to Anthony Volpe. It wasn't sharp. It wasn't like, a bang-bang play like that. This was an easy, tailor-made double play with the bases loaded there. Would have got the Yankees the win there with one out already. But, of course, Volpe bobbles the ball. A runner scores at that point, 5-4, and the next hitter hits a double, a game-winning walk-off, a win for the Baltimore Orioles, and at least able to salvage that final game there. And kind of, a bad loss for the Yankees. I'm not going to say crushing, because you took the first two. You were in position to get the sweep there, so you kind of showed your little dominance over the Orioles. So, again, a disappointing loss. I wouldn't put it as a bad, gut-wrenching loss. The Boston game, that Friday night game where Holmes gave up that 2-home run and then Canely gave up another 2-home run on top of that, was a gut-wrenching, terrible loss where you just feel like garbage. You don't even want to wake up the next day. This was kind of an annoying loss because you were willing to take the 2 out of 3 wins at that point, and it's the fact you were up with a big dramatic home run on the top of the ninth. You just had that glee for a while to say, we had to pinch yourself. Is this for real there? So you just had that experience a little bit. It got taken away from you. Okay, you'll take it. But overall, from when the Yankees entered this series, the way they exited, I think you would sign up for this in a second. So they walk out of there. Again, they come in 3 games back and now only 1 game back, which is almost like nothing because that's just 1 game. It's almost like you're tied for the top of the AL East there. And again, this is when the Yankees threw a brutal stretch where, look, maybe they could still be terrible when the second half of the season starts, but I have a feeling, man, that's probably as bad as it's going to get. So hopefully now with this, All-Star break, a couple players can get some rest there. Again, the Yankees only have 3 representatives, which will be, of course, Mr. Holmes, who just blew this one, but even though he's going to get the blown save and the loss there, you got to put that on Anthony Volpe. I mean, he got a gift double play right there, and he screwed it up. And I know Volpe is a Gold Glover, but still once in a while he still has some miscues here and there. And this is the wrong time to have a miscue. But again, a good series win for the Yankees. They get a series win, which they haven't had in over a month there. And again, it's against a good quality team. Now, even though Baltimore's scuffing a little bit offensive itself, it's still the Baltimore Orioles. It's still a quality team there. So it's very respectful to get that win. And the Yankees are able to move on. So again, the bird brain for the Friday game was the Baltimore manager Brandon Hyde, and we'll have to give the Bird Brain Award to Anthony Volpe for blowing that easy double play there in the bottom of the ninth, which would have also elevated that 3-run home run from Ben Rice, really would have highlighted. But good to see Rice hitting there, and look, for Anthony Rizzo, he could take his time coming back, no rush, if you want to go down to the Caribbean for a while and just get in some sun or whatever, no rush to come back there because at least the Yankees, at least solve that problem, I think, at first base. If you have to solve first base and third base and the bullpen, well, now you got to use more chips. But if you could go in-house and secure the first base spot there, then the Yankees don't have to make a move for first base, and I don't think they are. I think they're set there with the combination of Ben Rice and then maybe once in a while DJ LeMahieu, or when J.D. Davis does come back, him getting a trip to the IL. Didn't really get to mention it before, but again, he's going to go to the IL for a while. And of course, the Yankees, also some news there, a pitcher working his way back, Scott Efros. Didn't get to mention him last time. He's finally throwing. He's someone we kind of mentioned back in spring training who had a kind of bizarre back surgery out of nowhere, so that kind of prevented his starts of the season, but it looks like he's working his way in, and he'll be another good arm to add to the bullpen. Again, the Yankees have been kind of flushing guys in and out there, but a good quality arm who the Yankees traded for 2 years ago, but then needed to be shut down, had the Tommy John surgery, then had this weird back surgery, but it looks like he's working his way back. And, if he comes in there and he's, does a good job, then maybe, again, that's one less move. Maybe you don't have to make a bullpen move, and maybe you have to make 1 bullpen move and not 2 bullpen moves. And it also takes some pressure off of Luke Weaver, who he's been a workhorse out there right now. He's been very good, been great. I like how they've been using him as the, 8th inning role there, but they have been, really abusing him. Now, he's even though he's built up to be a starter, so he's not your normal type of relief pitcher there, but still, his innings pitch are starting to build up there. So if they could get, Efros up here to give him a little relief, that would be better. And, Tommy Canely, still not 100% sold that he's back yet right now, but again, lately he's been okay. But of course, left a bad taste in your mouth during that that Friday Boston game. The Yankees cap off the end of the first half of the season, just 1 game back in the AL East, but that's after a almost brutal month of just absolute trash baseball since mid-June there. So if that's the worst of it and they could just fend that off and then kind of be decent from there, then that's not really the worst thing in the world. Again, you figure they're going to be neck and neck with Baltimore the entire way. And again, Baltimore also having their issues, just not as bad as the Yankees. So that's the episode. Hope you like it. We'll be off for a few days, and then we'll be back for the second half of the season. Catch you then.